Hanjo. How you doing, everybody? Yeah, listen, I turned the camera on here. I'm not really ready to start talking yet, but this spot right here, something to do with the angle of the road and the vibration of the engine there always gives me a little bit of vertigo, and it's just there. It doesn't happen anywhere else, but in that spot on this road, I get it. I gotta stand up. I can't stay down on the seat. A lot of times when I stop, have my right foot up, you know, right here near the brake, on the brake in fact, and you know, my left foot will go down to the ground to keep from tipping over. And but man, if I'm sitting there, something about the vibration of the engine at that intersection, that's it, man. I get a little vertigo. It's so weird. I don't like it. I'm like, oh man, am I getting lightheaded? But it only happens there, and it happens almost every time. It's pretty weird. I'm sure somebody can explain that, and maybe it's all in my head. Maybe it's literally in my head. Anyway, let's see if I have my camera on a little straighter. It's been a little crooked for several videos. Not much, but a little bit. And yeah, the other thing is I've had, and some of you have noticed this for quite a while, but for those of you who are like, why don't you could you just wipe off your lens? Because there's like right around in this area, there's like a cloudy spot. And but that's actually a crack, little crack in the lens on my GoPro. So I caught a good size chunk of rock or something, hit me straight off the right off the lens. So if that blurry spot bothers you, I do apologize. I don't know if those little lens areas can be replaced on a GoPro, or how I would even go about doing that. Man, I feel like I'm behind somebody slow up there, and this is like gonna turn into a 55-mile-an-hour road soon, and this road is lousy at anything under 60. But anyhow, yeah, I don't know if I could pop that off and replace it or not, but so if you've noticed that spot, that's what it is, a little tiny crack. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know if it bugs you. Maybe I shouldn't have even pointed it out, because now you might notice it. I notice it all the time, and yeah, it drives me a little bit crazy. But you know, if you look real close at the lens, there's a little, I mean, as fine as a spider web, a little tiny crack north to south, and that's that. All right, here we go. Get out. Yeah, this is oh, don't do it. Wow, he is in. That guy just passed head on in a lane of traffic, and we got to see it. So that's riding in the Boston area. That's a numbskull, and who should be pulled over and have their keys taken away. The dotted line is only in effect if there are no cars occupying that lane. And he's awfully lucky someone oncoming wasn't having a bad day, just decided, you know what, I'm not moving. Yeah, we get that mentality around here too. I'm not moving, I don't care. It's been too long a day. I've been sitting in traffic, I'm not moving. You want to hit me head on, let's do it. Hey, I do it. I already got a cracked lens. Hey, let's talk Dyna for a minute, yeah? So, as most of you know, this is or if you've been following me, this is a 2009 Dyna lowrider. When I bought it in 2011, it was used, and it was, wow, it was used for about 1,400 miles. Wow, does anybody know how to pass? Crazy. Yeah, it was used for about, only had like 1,400 something miles on it, and things in really good shape. It was in really good shape when I bought it. They were still making the Dyna, and so pretty good stuff. Then, not long after I bought it, I don't even remember. I say not long after, but that's just the way time has passed for me. But not super long after I bought it, they stopped making the Dyna. And then, of course, you get all the people that are like, these people who are making up fabrications about the Dyna being the greatest platform that ever lived and whatever, which is fine. You could say that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because there was a lot going on back there. But anyhow, yeah, I hate that turn because you have to stop in a lane of traffic and everybody's going pretty quick. So yeah, I was having to pay attention to behind me and in front of me and off to the side. People like to pull out. So anyhow, yeah, so I got the Dyna. Remember, I was interested in a Sportster because I love that small look. I love the peanut tank. You get the loud Evo engine, and Sportster's cool. It's not a girl's bike. Yeah, you could say what you want about it. It's a good motorcycle. Kind of a tall seat height, right, for a beginner. So it's not even really a beginner bike, although it is beginner friendly to some extent. And the reason people tend to they get sick of it right away and upgrade, quote unquote, is because they find that they're logging a lot of highway miles, or they want a passenger, or they're just looking for something else. So the Sportster gets them out, knees in the breeze, and then they start to figure out what they really want. Well, and some people just keep it. They love it. It's all they need for what they do, their applications, and that's fine too. All right, I gotta take it easy here. This bump will toss me out of the seat if I don't stand up. Yeah, but anyhow, so I was looking at Sportsters, and I got it at Motorcycles in Manchester, Mum's in Foxborough at the old location. They had a family feel back then, and yeah, I sat on some Sportsters. They were kind of old and banged up a little bit. I was looking to spend $3,000. Again, this is back in 2011, and there were a couple that were around that price range. But then my friend noticed, hey, you notice you've been sitting on this bike. You've sat on that bike more than any other bike. Then I'm like, geez, I don't know, Al. This bike's a lot bigger than what I was really looking for. Plus, it's like a few $1,000s more expensive than I was looking to spend. But I heeded his advice, and he knew me well. So I was like, you know what? In my head, I'm thinking, right, Al is saying this. His opinion means a lot to me. And so I got the Dyna. I went right from 2 days of training on Honda 250 Nighthawk to right to the 1585 cc 96 cubic inch Dyna lowrider. So, and I'll tell you, it was a learning curve. Big compared to the 250, man. This thing felt like it was made out of lead. And boy, I'll tell you what. But anyhow, yeah, I certainly did. Once I got comfortable, which took me longer than I wanted, honestly, because of the driving around here for the most part. But yeah, once I got comfortable, I was like, I see the wisdom in that. If I go visit my parents or something, they're an hour away, but you got to log some highway. Now I know some back. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyhow, yeah, certainly having that 6th gear on the highway, and there's a big bump here I'm not going to hit this time. Yeah, having the 6 speed on the highway is a beautiful thing. Beautiful. Yeah, you get 5th gear, you get a lot of power. You're really in a nice power band. But then when you get on, and you're cruising on the highway, you drop it into 6th gear, and man, I tell you, the bike just lays down. It's beautiful. It's 2,500 RPM or so at 75 miles an hour. It's like you can't beat it, man. The engine kind of quiets down a little bit, and of course the wind is loud as anything, but now I get the full face helmet, so that's okay. But yeah, it's great. So Al was right for sure. Anyhow, I wouldn't mind owning a Sportster as well. Like I said, I love that peanut tank. You really kind of bob it out or do something. Love to have a sporty bobber, would be pretty cool. But anyhow, I don't want to get rid of this guy. But all right, short story long. The Dyna wasn't long for this world after I bought this, and it suddenly became a bike that was desirable. right? Because they weren't making it anymore. So you have that big initial flurry for several years of people, you know, saying how much greater the Dyna is. And now listen, it is great in a lot of ways. Certainly it has its advantages, without a doubt, none of which I'm going to get into here. But some of the criticism of the newer bikes were that they sounded like sewing machines, and these are people that would probably have never been in a room with a sewing machine before. So right off the rip, their argument, I strike it from the record, because they don't know what they're talking about. Or use a different analogy, maybe. If you say, like, man, I've been sewing my own patches on my jacket for years and it sounds just like my sewing machine. No, what people are like, hearing what other people are saying and adopting that as their own critique. So I don't respect that. You know, you could say something like, you know, some people say it sounds like a sewing machine, and I agree, you know, like having heard, you know, whatever. But don't just, everybody's saying it sounds like a, you know, and that's kind of like a lot of political commentary where people make these audacious claims either for or against somebody, and there's absolutely no scientific backing for it, or historical backing. It's just people vomiting what they hear from the people that they spend time listening to. You know what I mean? So anyhow, all that for the Dyna has pretty much blown over. You know, a lot of people sold their Dynas, and people who were really looking to get Dynas were able to pick them up. So that was great. And they continued to make the lowrider for a couple of years, right? At least a couple of years after that. And, you know, they had a couple of nice color schemes going on. I really loved the, this was before they were doing a lot of AMF inspired color schemes, but they had a really nice red, white, and blue one. They had a great black one. They had a nice red one that, man, riding with Raj, remember him? Was he Blockhead's friend a long time ago? Moved to Colorado. He had a really nice red and black one that I kind of ogled that paint job a little bit for a short time. I mean, obviously this guy's not going anywhere, but I'll make sure this guy sees me. Got to get in gear here. There we go. But anyhow, you know, but then they came out with the Lowrider S, which was like, holy smokes, they finally, here we go. You know, a lowrider with a big power plant, and then they went to the different style. They went to the Softail. They still have lowrider S's. Now they got lowrider STs, and that's really cool. But there's no more base model lowrider. There's no more just not sport lowrider. You know, no base model. And they have, and I'm not sure why that is. You know, they do have like the Softail standard and stuff like that. Maybe is filling enough of a niche. Whose sticker does this guy have on there? I can't tell. Somebody on a road glide. So that could be any of 100,000 people. Anyhow, yeah. That having been said, so I really love the platform. This is not news to those of you who've been following my channel. And I often wonder, you know, if something happened to the Bug Smasher, would I get another lowrider? And yeah, like I think I would. But what would the equivalent be in the modern Harley Davidson? I'm not interested in Indian. You can tell me what the equivalent would be, but I'm honestly just not interested in Indian. No offense to Polaris or anything, but not interested in Indian, or you know, like a you know, I'm not interested in like a Yamaha, like whatever necessarily. You know, if I was to replace the lowrider Harley Davidson Dyna lowrider with something comparable, I would like it to, you know, at least be in the same family and like sound enough alike. And you know, so what in Harley's lineup would be similar now? And I'm just not sure, and it doesn't really necessarily matter at this point. So there's that. But anyhow, yeah, the lowrider, yeah, is it only relegated to the sport models now? That's fine if so. It's out of my price range. It's got a little more performance than I think I need. Frankly, this has more performance than I need. Just a stage 1, but I can really get up and go on this, which is more than enough to stay within the legal limit and you know, acceptably beyond. But anyhow, what do you think about that? You know, I don't know. That was an awful lot of talking, coming from getting seasick at that stoplight, where I always get seasick, right? Get a little bit of vertigo. Vertigo. Yeah, test for echo. So anyhow, that's it. You know, would I be willing to step out of Harley Davidson? Well, I don't think I have a choice, folks. Harley is a rich man's motorcycle nowadays, and you know, back beyond. But I was single then, you know, when I got mine and paid it off. But yeah, it's a wealthy man's ride these days. So you know, frankly, if something does happen to it now, what's up, dude? Maybe your sticker's on that guy's bike. Anyhow, maybe I would have to step into a different. And there's plenty of you know, affordable, powerful, reliable motorcycles of a similar platform in other brands, without a doubt. And so, could I conceivably pick up like a Yamaha Bolt and like wake it up with some? It would need, definitely they're not powerful right out of the factory, but could I see getting used to one of those? Yeah, maybe. But I think if I lost this bike somehow and had to get something different, and I couldn't afford a Harley, I think I'm going for a totally different style bike, to be honest. Because I think I would feel sick riding like something that I honestly just wasn't passionate about, but was kind of close. You know what I mean? I don't think I would feel great about that. So I might step totally out of the genre and go for something like I know Brock Gill, he just got a I don't even know how to pronounce it, a Yamaha Tenere 700 or whatever. So it's an adventure bike. Would I go with an adventure bike? Got a tall seat height. I'm 5'8", but you know what? I bet I could get used to that for sure. And maybe I would have a blast on an adventure bike. So you know, I think I would always look back at this bike and say, yeah, I'll never be another bike like that. And then that might be true, especially when nostalgia kicks in. So anyhow.